Turn left onto Point Street, then turn left. Turn left onto Meriden Avenue, then turn right onto Union Lake Road. At the next stop sign, turn right. At the stop sign, turn right onto Union Lake Road. In about 2 miles, turn right onto Richardson Road.
Music.
Sale starts Tuesday. Refresh your wardrobe for spring with great deals on brands you know, like 40 to 60% off Anne Klein, Tommy Hilfiger, Style & Co. and more. And add your flair with 30 to 50% off shoes, handbags, and accessories. Plus get 50 to 65% off home updates with Cuisinart, Lennox, and more. Macy's Star Rewards members earn on every purchase, except gift card services and fees. Savings off regular sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the big jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 can prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
At the next light, turn right.
You might say,
this is ludicrous.
but that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm.
America's favorite place to watch football is Stadium Swim, located at Circa Resort and Casino. Catch all the biggest games at a viewing experience built for sports fans. Chill in one of our
At the light,
pools.
turn right onto Richardson Road, then turn left onto Martin Road.
Massive screen. Located at Circa Resort and Casino in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street. Stadium Swim. Book your spot today at circalasvegas.com.
At the light, turn left onto Martin Road.
Policy out today. Powered by the Golling Auto Group. Always there for you. That's the Golling difference. Text the ticket using the same number you use. Ticket text 248-539-9797.
In half a mile, at the roundabout, take the second exit onto Martin Road.
Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio, here's Costa and Jensen with Heather.
Fan yelling at Troy Weaver. Ticket text coming in 248-539-9797. Weaver's response on video: "You're lucky I don't beat your ass." Ticket texter says, "If fans have a line they can't cross, then Troy Weaver crossed that same line. If a fan tells Weaver,
At the
"Well, you're not
roundabout,
gonna
take
beat
the
your
second
ass,"
exit onto
take
Martin
the check.
Road.
Why was Troy allowed to stay in the arena? Double standard? Question mark.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's when you put it in that context as well. Not only do you, if you were to say that to Troy Weaver, if you're a season ticket holder, you're ejected, but you probably get your tickets revoked.
Another one says, "I'm surprised." People are creative. "I'm surprised Weaver was able to produce a sentence without flooding it with from Will." Another one, "Ultimately, for the Pistons fans, nothing will happen. Weaver is going to stay because we have a clueless and absent owner." Tony and Warren on the ticket text. I do think there's a just general frustration with the fans, and like, got the GM right there an aisle over. Bad things keep happening in the game. You give up 142 points during gets ejected, and you walk up to him and say, "Hey, terrible at your job," and Weaver,
At the roundabout, take the second exit onto Martin Parkway.
and the guy gets pointed to, "Hey, him, over here, get him away." These are paying customers, you that still...
That sounded like your black truck.
Passionate enough to come up to you and say something. And again, we don't have any video evidence or any first-hand accounts to suggest that this fan said anything unsavory. So this is on Weaver losing his cool. And John, you told your story about, you know, when you lose your cool. I mean, it happens.
It does.
In half a mile, at the roundabout, take the second exit onto Martin
I go
Parkway.
back to, he's not doing this because he wants to suck at it.
Right.
And the response, you can take it a number of different ways. Was it inappropriate? Absolutely. Did it cross a line? I do believe it did. But would you rather have a guy that does sit there and just shrugs his shoulders and says, you're right, or kind of gives that impression that he doesn't care? You want to have a little bit of passion. You want to have, that fire, but you gotta be
At the roundabout, take the second exit onto Martin Parkway.
how you handle yourself, because you are representing not just his name, Troy Weaver, and his reputation, but you are also representing the Detroit Pistons, the logo, the city, and everything that goes along with it.
Texas says, "Cookies, you can't be serious. The guy came over multiple times. You wouldn't have gotten thrown out if he didn't keep coming back. The reaction wasn't great, but the guy was over the line and should have been thrown out." I said that. If he's acting like a jackass, throw him out of the game. But the idea that the general manager of the Detroit Pistons is anyway justified in what he did is laughable to me. And he looks like he can't take the heat. For a guy who's sitting among the fans, 10-53, he looks like a guy who can't take the heat. And I'm sure he's been heckled before and he's held it in, but it's clearly getting to him.
At the roundabout, take the second exit onto M5
Worst
South.
general manager for a Detroit sports team ever. Is it Millen? Is it someone else? That's Greg in a truck. I'll say this, Millen and Alavila never said, "You're lucky I don't beat your ass" to fans.
No, but they also did put themselves in that situation. And it's not typical for, in fact, I don't even know. We did see Brad Holmes celebrate with fans after the game.
In about 12 miles, take a slight left turn onto West 8 Mile Road.
In Arrowhead, we saw it a number of different times, but we didn't see him during the game sitting amongst the fans. We didn't see Alavila disaster, which was the roster, was going on.
Weaver and Moore's out of Detroit, both are bums, neither are wanted here. Troy needed nothing, reads my name. Ticket text, and one more. Who cares about the Pistons? Let's talk Phoenix. No doubt. One thing at a time. There's a lot of losing over the weekend.
There was a lot of losing. And you know, even if you look at Twitch, we are on Twitch. We've been on at 6 o'clock for the last couple of weeks now. And they're basically echoing the same thing. Yeah, he shouldn't have been in the seats with how bad they are. He is asking for it. Probably smarter to stay in the owner's box so this doesn't happen. And then the last one, and I think this is where we will discuss more as we get towards the end of the year, and is he the right guy to continue to try and rebuild or restore, whatever he wants to label it. Forget about the fan. How is he still reporting?
Yeah, this is disgusting. Our GM isn't doing his job and he goes off on fans. This is our chance to pull the plug. I don't want any GM talking to our fans like that.
It's a really bad look. And if you know that you've got a short fuse because things haven't gone your way, and last year you could say, well, it's frustrating because Cade Cunningham was hurt. He didn't play all season long. Didn't get a chance to develop him and Ivy. Ivy and Duran got a chance to grow a little bit, but this year it's can Ivy and Cunningham be on the court at the same time. Jalen Duran has continued to show that he's a good player, and those guys have as well, just not been able to do it together. But you're 10 and 53. Why put yourself in that position?
What Weaver did, bad look, really bad look. I wouldn't fire him. I would fire him over the fact that in year 4 they're 10 and 53 and the roster doesn't make any bit of sense. It doesn't work. I mean, that's the bigger issue right now. I mean, the idea that they're 10 and 53, everybody on the team was drafted or traded for or signed by him. His unwillingness to use cap space last summer, well, I guess he used it for Joe Harris. Sick move. I'm sure they're going to use it better this summer. There's no faith in this guy to assemble a team, not just to draft.
Starting route to 20040 Woodward Street.
Texter says tickets revoked.
In about 12 miles, make a U-turn at Norborn.
Doing that guy a favor. 248-539-9797. Yeah, he's a no good last week. And wins lose twice. At Michigan and Michigan State lose. Both lose. Yeah, the Pistons get up 142 points and the GM is out here going at fans. The saving grace is today is the start of NFL free agency. Legal tampering. You get that phrase.
Well, it's just stupid. If you're going to start free agency a couple of days early, just start free agency a couple of days early. They get a chance to meet with the representatives. They get a chance to, agree to a contract, but they can't consummate the deal until 4 o'clock on Wednesday. It's done.
But we're going to see it. We're going to start to show stuff, John. We've been waiting for this. We're finally going to see names connected to teams. We already got some of that overnight. We'll see.
Stay in the left 3 lanes.
What I want to know, expectations for Lions fans. You like that? Later in the middle of the night when Russell Wilson joins the Steelers.
Sleeping all by himself, gets the notification. Hey, Russell Wilson's coming to the Steelers.
We're going to start to see stuff. Noon today is the big window where stuff starts to open up. Lions fans, expectations, not just for today, but for this week. We'll do that after these updates. 248-539-9797. Your expectations as a Lions fan. Better days ahead. The one team carrying us, Detroit Lions, 97-1.
WXYT FM and WXYT HD Detroit. Always live on the Free Odyssey app. Sports headlines from the Planet Fitness Studio. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
Brought to you by Northwood Lumber. March Madness right around the corner, but it was March Sadness for our 2 Big Ten hoops teams yesterday. Michigan clobbered at Nebraska 85-70, setting a new single-season record for losses. The U of M with 23. After the game, Juwan Howard sounded like a coach who will be back next season.
We're going to line like no other this summer to work on.
Stay in the left 2 lanes.
Well, as a lot of the Michigan fans, basketball fans, they know Michigan fans. But this year right here, all got a lot of activity happening. A lot of things.
I don't know about that. U of M plays Penn State Wednesday in the Big Ten tournament. Michigan State came all the way back from 17 down, but failed to finish at Indiana yesterday, losing 65-64. Spartans finished 18-13, 10-10 in the Big Ten. Tom Izzo over the last 4 seasons, 77 wins, 52 losses, just 31-28 in league play. It's the 4th straight year State will lose 13 or more games. That's a first under Izzo, and it's the first time State has had such a stretch in 40 years. Spartans have lost 4 of 5 to finish the regular season. They face Minnesota Thursday, the Big Ten tourney. ESPN Bracketology still has MSU on the 9 line. And with how MSU's playing, Oakland might be the state's best bet to make the NCAA tournament. Grizzlies 2 wins away from winning the Horizon League tourney and clinching an automatic berth in the Big Dance. They play Cleveland State tonight, and if they win, they'll take on the winner of Northern Kentucky and Milwaukee tomorrow. It would be OU's first trip to the NCAA tournament since 2011. Pistons host the Hornets tonight here on 97.1 starting at 6:35. Full Health Update Desk, I'm Beanie Howell. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket or Odyssey.com.
Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio, Costa and Jansen with Heather on 97.1 The Ticket.
One more ticket text. If Weaver did kick that man's ass, he would give him 11 wins on the season. Marty McCarr. All right, let's talk about the Lions. Let's talk about a general manager who does not suck at his job. Brad Holmes got a busy week coming up. Free agency starts. But noon today is when stuff's going to start coming out. And I want to know from you, John, and open up the phone lines to people today, this morning, on a Monday. What's the expectation for this week for the Detroit Lions? 248-539-9797. We'll get to the Wings, 7:35. Lions, carry the day for us.
My expectations that they're going to, whether it's today or tomorrow, in this legal tampering, they're going to be able to agree to terms with one of the big names. And whether it's, and we know Chris Jones is off the market now. He re-signed back in Kansas City. So whether it's Christian Wilkins, Danielle Hunter, or it's trading for L'Jarius Sneed, they're going to be able to go out there and address a specific need with one of the big dogs in free agency. I expect that to happen. Do I expect them to go out and sign multiple guys and throw cash around like it's going out of style? No. But I do expect them to be able to land somebody that is going to directly impact this roster on the defensive side of things.
I don't expect that. I want that. I don't expect it. I don't think they're going to get Danielle Hunter. I don't think they're going to land Christian Wilkins. I don't believe they're going to trade over Jerry's. Hope I'm wrong. Hope you're right. My expectation for this week, though, is that they will be active. I think it's going to be a lot more of the B tier and the C tier players that they target. I think we're going to see those names more than we will, hey, Lions are in on Danielle Hunter. They're going to close the deal at Wednesday. No, I don't see that happening. Wilkins, the same thing. And maybe John, you could call me naive. I'm going to take them at their word. Doesn't mean I agree with it, but I think they've been very deliberate in what they want to do, which is they don't want to overspend in free agency. They'll fill their needs, and I think they'll do that, but I don't think it's going to be on the names that you and I have talked about that most fans would be excited.
So that is, if I'm going to put a disclaimer on me saying they need to be able to sign one of those three, or they could throw in a couple of more guys in that category, is I don't think Brad Holmes is going to overspend for one guy. And that's the cautionary tale of when you look at teams like Buffalo that had just released, 8 guys because they're trying to get underneath the cap. You don't want to get into a position like that, but you want to be able to go right up to that line, walk right up to that line, and be able, when you have a chance, your Super Bowl window is open. And for the Detroit Lions, right now, the Super Bowl window is there. The possibility is there. Now, you're still always going to have some things go your way, but you can create your own luck. You can go out there and sign some of these guys. But Brad Holmes, because the cap went up the way it did, I truly believe that if it didn't go up as much as it did, we might not see Chris Jones back in Kansas City. You might not see some of these guys that have re-signed with their teams, or the franchise tag being put on some of these guys because the cap went up as much as it did. And there are going to be teams that are going to go out there, and whether it's Christian Wilkins, Danielle Hunter, even, you know, a trade and sign L'Jarius Sneed that are going to at least offer more than market value. And you're worth whatever somebody's going to pay you. But if the going rate is $23 million a year for Christian Wilkins for 4 years, like I would be okay with that. But I'm not okay with them mortgaging the future by saying, well, we have to have him no matter what, and I'm going to pay him 25 or 26 a year.
Name I think you could see signed this week. Danico Autry, defensive lineman, Tennessee Titans. He's 33 years old. He's coming off an 11-sack season. Generally productive. Worked with Terrell Williams, the Lions' new defensive line coach. He is not going to command a 3 or 4 year deal. He's going to be probably 1 or 2. He's not going to command $25 million a season. Might be half of that. That's more of the bargain bin move I think they're going to make. Or I would prefer, you got to know my preference, I prefer Danielle Hunter. I think they're going to go half the price, half the years, Danico Autry. Darius Williams is a corner who's bounced around, was on the Rams Super Bowl team as a second corner. He was just in Jacksonville last year with the Lions' new DB coach, Townsend. Could I see him on a 1 or 2 year deal as a 30-year-old corner? I could. Robert Hunt, I think, is a guy they will target. I know you've hit on that.
Yep.
That they do, and Holmes has said the O-line is a priority. I think that's a position. If they lose Jonah, they do replace with a Robert Hunt. But, John, I don't think they're going to spend all their salary cap space, and they kind of told us that. And then I was reading a little bit of Justin Rogers today in the Detroit News, and this may end up being a bit of a red flag for Lions fans who are all hopped up going into free agency. Rogers talks about cap space in a different way than you and I talk about cap space, and even in ways that like overthecap.com talk about cap space. They have the Lions with top 10 cap space in the league. Justin Rogers says it's Detroit's organizational preference to leave between 15 and 20 million in funds to be prepared for injuries and additions via waiver or trade later in the process. Now that is an organizational preference, one that I think we disagree with, because you're chasing a championship. Don't worry about saving $20 million in a rainy day fund. Chase the Super Bowl now. But if that is true, if they plan on setting aside 15 to 20, they got half as much money to work with as we think they do, and I think it's going to be a lot more bargain bin shopping than fans are ready for.
Well, so that has been the method that they have used to this point, but they have never been in this position to be able to go out and get somebody that can directly impact a game. And it's when you are going into a season with guys like, and I don't mean disrespect their quality players, but like if John Kaminsky gets hurt, you could get a like guy that maybe you're pulling off of the street that you're going to spend about the same amount of money. So yeah, you do save a rainy day fund because you can spend that on multiple guys, but now you're at a position where your depth is much better than it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and you don't have to sit there and go, well, if Kaminsky gets hurt, how could we possibly replace him? Like, that is, right now you have the ability to go out there and continue to improve the top end, but I know, as you like to say, they have already addressed depth. Depth.
I think they're going to keep addressing
Depth.
248-539-9797. What is your expectation this week? Listen, there's a lot of bluster. Go get Danielle Hunter. Go get L'Jarius Sneed. Go get Christian Wilkins. Those are the three biggest names. They're still there. We could get news on them today, tomorrow. You'd imagine by Wednesday, those guys are going to set the tone in free agency as the biggest high-dollar fish available. But do you actually expect that? Ticketexter says, go get Sneed at all costs. The defense is terrible at best and cost the Lions multiple games. That's Tim and Clarkston.
The defense is definitely the weakest part. There's no question. There's no argument about that. How do they address corner? How do they address defensive line? Somebody on the edge opposite Aiden Hutchinson that is an actual threat. And I'm okay at times with James Houston being a part of that plan. But to me, he's not a guy that I want to count on to have the same production he did as a rookie. Even last year, I mean, he was hurt the entire year, so we don't really know what he was going to be or not going to be. And I also think that there are going to be some guys, and we've seen it already, that have been released. Cap casualties.
At the next
And then I'll
stop
give you
sign,
another
make a
name.
U-turn.
Xavier Howard, corner. Was with Miami, cap casualty. He is on the market. Now, he may not be a guy that's going to sign day one. Maybe he's 7 days in.
Yeah.
Stephon Gilmore, a guy that you could go out, like you were talking about, a guy that provides a veteran
At the
presence
stop
that can
sign,
still be
use the
very
left lane to
serviceable
make a
and
U-turn
better-
at
a
Nordborn.
much needed upgrade to what you had, but you're not going to be signing up to a 3 or 4 year contract. It's going to be more of a 1 or 2 year deal.
Yeah, why I think they're going to target those guys. One, they don't cost as much. And again, money shouldn't be an issue, but I think the way they are going
Make
to
a
approach
U-turn,
this is they're at the
then
start of
turn
their
right
window.
onto
They're
MacArthur
not
Street.
mortgaging anything. They're going to try to go this path of sustainability. 1 year deals don't hurt sustainability. That money spent, and then it's freed up the very next year. So 1 and 2 year deals, veterans, Autry on the D line, Gilmore or Williams from Jacksonville in the secondary. I think the one area they may invest long term is
Turn right onto
the
MacArthur
offensive
Street,
line. I mean, you get two
then
guard
turn
spots
right
open,
onto
and it's a
Fargo
good
Street.
crop of guards. 248-539-9797. There's some news and notes. We'll get to it 7:18. ESPN with notes on the guard market, the defensive tackle market, Danielle Hunter's market, the QB situation, Kirk Cousins, and how about the LA Chargers? A ticket texter says, what does Khalil Mack or Joey Bosa cost? They are in the report. They are up against the cap
At the
in
stop
Los
sign,
Angeles.
turn right
Yeah.
onto Fargo
Those are gonna be
Street,
names to watch
then
too,
turn
'cause you
left
may be
onto Woodward
flying
Street.
somebody away that wouldn't ordinarily be available.
Well, and so they're going to hold on to those guys until they have to be under the cap. Somebody might be a June 1 designation in terms of being cut, but they're probably going to be guys
Turn
that
left
they're
onto
gonna be
Woodward
coveted.
Street,
So do you
then the
go and you
destination is on your
offer
right.
a 3rd round pick for Khalil Mack? Do you offer, I mean, would that get it done? Is it a 2nd round pick? What is it to get it done to bring him to Detroit or wherever he may end up? Because LA, they
The destination is on your right.